A big welcome to you, my dear Leo, and a big welcome to those zodiac signs that felt like that this constellation, which only exists once a year, has an inspiration for them as well. I always do the reading exactly on the day the moon is in your sign, and so when I look at the moon, I see constellation Leo behind it, and when I look at the sun, I see the constellation Scorpio behind it. Now both of you are fixed signs, and the interesting thing is that when fixed signs come together, they can sometimes be a little bit too fixed on what they represent. You represent the middle of the summer, and Scorpio represents the middle of the fall. You are the fifth house of happiness, and Scorpio is the eighth house of transformation or reincarnation. So doesn't really work there, but if we go through a big transformation, then a true happiness and an excitement can come back as well. So as you see, the Scorpio is literally walking away from this situation, you managing your own energy within and realizing that you have something very powerful and raw like this lion within you. The yoga position for Scorpio, I did the Scorpio position, Vrikshasana. We put our feet above our head so that we can really truly let go. Let go of that part within us that thinks that we know everything, and our feet, which are connected with Pisces and the subconscious, and this card is called Noon, or the Hebrew letter Noon means fish, and I have two fish down here, that the phoenix is liberating itself, and from that the sun is rising. We're coming out of a situation. For you, I gave you Simhasana, the lion's breath, and the position in itself. You can roar like a lion. You can, change the perspective of the infinite eight into you getting the information, and then you bring it down, and you are becoming that strong energy that can shift and help others to liberate themselves as well. Your court card is the King of Wands. If your birthday is between July 13 and August 8, this is your court card. If it comes up here, it's a demonstration of the Rider-Waite, and you are looking in the big cycle, right? So I have two ways of reading. The small readings that you get through the year are from left to right, are from a state of consciousness that is experiencing the outside, and thus the soul is learning through these trials and tribulations to become stronger and stronger. The big cycle is from right to left on your full moon, and your full moon is opposite of Aquarius. So in the month of February you have your full moon, and there I read from right to left, which is a state from within to the out, which is then what the soul is also pushing you to do. If you don't do it, then you become unhappy, and that's always a very important sign, because you love to be happy, right? Because that's your house, the happiness, the house of happiness. Maybe you should create a brand calling the House of Happiness. The last reading, where the sun was in Libra, the message was: a sacred contract with spirit brings light into your shadow work. So there was a contract, there was the moon, and there was something in your past that you want to let go. So let's have a look what Scorpio is wanting to tell you. I have 12 cards lying here, the first 4 of the major arcanas, which are state of consciousness, and also the last 4 are always the same, but I'm using different decks on each position. And in the middle it depends where's the sun and where's the moon, of course, and then I add another 2 major arcanas that have no zodiac sign assigned to it. Why am I reading the small reading from left to right and the big one from right to left? Is also because we have the small cycle, the 365 days, the Earth spins around the sun, which is that daily life, which is what we humans kind of like every day. We have to get up and do our thing. And so that's why I'm reading in general from left to right. But on your full moon, you're getting a soul reading, which is then the wobble the Earth does. And it's very slow. It's 25,800 years long, this wobble. And it's just a very small, while it's spinning around the sun, it's tilting 1 degree. It's called precession, right? Normally it's procession, and now it's a precession. And here we see that this wobble divided through 12 zodiac signs creates an age. And so behind Scorpio is the age of Pisces. So this is very interesting because behind the sun is the influence of the moon. Because the moon is connected with Pisces. The deep, deep subconscious, the shadow work that we're doing since 2150 years. And we are slowly going into the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius is your opposite sign, and that opposite sign is usually that you have to integrate, you have to learn to become more like Aquarius, and Aquarius has to learn to become more like you. So you're gonna be in the next 2150 years in the shadow of Aquarius. Nevertheless, Aquarius, or the age of Aquarius, is going to have to incorporate this wild side of yours. So this is very important for you to know. Let's begin. On the position of the Fool, which we can see here right away, that he goes into the soul cycle, right? The big, from right to left, comes the 4 of Swords of the Visconti Sforza Tarot. Now the 4 of Swords is a state of consciousness that makes you want to begin to go deeper, deeper within, into meditation, into understanding more and more what this state of consciousness really is, which is the beginning, the foolishness, right, to begin something. But within that foolishness lies the beauty of learning and growing. And without it, the soul cannot grow. The soul cannot evolve. So the soul needs to come here into this physical body and learn what it can learn. And so here you have 4 of Swords, which is Jupiter in Libra. So from the last message, right, Jupiter is that wheel of fortune that is spinning, and you had that sacred contract that with spirit that brings light into your shadow work. Now, the swords back then was for the noble people, and usually are very much connected with worries. So here you have the 4 of Swords, which is actually solution oriented, which means pull back, go deep within and find your power within, where this infinite loop is that you have, of course, above your head. On the position of the Magician comes here the Sorcerer. And the Sorcerer is a little bit of a dark energy here in the Alberto Villoldo deck. The 48, the number then where the 4, which is the Emperor, and the 8, your card, is connecting together then the number 12, which is all 12 zodiac signs, which is then the magician and the high priestess, and then back down to the 3, which is the empress. So calculating down into the 3, right, you are now challenged because there is an 8 inside, and this is the 8th card. You are challenged to have a look at this. And it's really interesting. He's looking into the big cycle. He's literally saying, okay, but you see also here is the rainbow that is pointing directly at the center of the 4 of Swords. And the sorcerer is, look deeper within. What is still blocking you to be completely free of these subconscious energy? And that's why Scorpio, the noon, the subconscious, is letting you know, have a deeper look. And on top of it, behind it, Pisces, have a look at how you see religion and spirituality and the path of love. So you are really challenged here to actually then understand something profound, because this is a state of consciousness where you actually act upon this state of consciousness, which was the original idea, was like, I gotta meditate more so that I gotta conquer these dark thoughts, these secrets within me that sometimes still haunt me. On the position of the high priestess, still a state of consciousness, which is then your intuition, is telling you, okay, let me allow the dark side. You see the dark pillar is connected with this card. Let me allow to come into my center of the black and the white. Let me be conscious. And then the 9 of Cups is coming here to you. And the 9 of Cups is Jupiter in Pisces. So what's really interesting is that here you have Jupiter in Libra, kind of reflecting back to the last reading. And now you have Jupiter in Pisces, which is, Pisces is always there behind every sign, right? The sun is moving into every month. So there's this age of Pisces behind it. And underlying, we do know that there is, through the 9 of Cups, the Lord of material happiness. A happiness that, of course, you enjoy and you really want, because you're the 5th house of happiness. You're the house of happiness, and here it comes, right? The 9 of Cups is that I want to really be more connected. It's also a wish card. It's also a little bit now the Christmas celebration card. So if you do the work here, right, with going deeper to understand the dark forces that sometimes come up within you, then you can literally know intuitive that you also have this bright side within you, the 9 of Cups, the happiness that is now speaking to you through Jupiter in Pisces. And Jupiter in Pisces is right now trining with Venus in Scorpio, which is memories of the past. And so it's very interesting that this card came up, because I'm checking every day also what's going on really above us, right? Because these are all energies of astrological empowerments. That's why it's like we see how these powerful energies are affecting us, that above us are these constellations, and we humans down here feel them and act upon them. And this is just a help for you to see that there is more to it, to get more a perspective from a higher advantage point, right? That's what, when we meditate, comes to us. We get the solutions. Then On the position of the Empress, again comes here a state of consciousness, but this state of consciousness that you have been realizing here in the first 4 cards is now beginning to take place here in this dimension. It's almost like you're giving birth to the Fool, right? Le Fou, these are French cards, and Oswald Wirth very much intriguingly put these cards in a very interesting way together, which of course now you see how one is pointing this way and the other is pointing that way. So as you can see, this is what I'm studying, right? I'm studying all these different schools, and each school has a different perspective on how the Fool begins its journey. Here you even have a cat biting in his leg and pulling his pants down. So it's a very crazy picture. And here even is a little crocodile that's looking above. There's no crocodile here, right? There's just this dog, and here a dog or a cat like is biting in his leg, and here also like a dog is literally saying, hey, watch out, where are you going? You're gonna fall, right? So you begin then to realize that the work that you did here, looking at the 4 of Swords and realizing that you gotta let go of more dark energies that maybe you have received in your childhood, you gotta let them go so that you can really begin this journey of yours. Because then you coming up here as the Court card, and you are looking at this and you're going to be like, oh my God, yeah, I gotta begin to realize that the more I meditate, the more I go deeper within. Because the Fool on the position here with the 4 of Swords is, through meditation you can realize all these, right, things that are from a deep level surfacing through Scorpio, and behind it of course the Age of Pisces. So you're looking at the Fool and you're like, what are you doing? What's going on, right? So it's like, he's like composed, he's like, you are, look at you put your pants up. Anyway, so then comes on your position, the position of Leo, comes the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands is really a message that wants to come to you, and it's coming really fast. And Mercury in Sagittarius is connected with this, and here you see this fairy girl sitting on a panda bear with these 8 lanterns above her head. And there is this notion of something is now coming really fast, is gonna really surprise you, is gonna really push you. And you're gonna realize pretty soon that this information is necessary for you to begin, right? To begin completely new, to begin what you have realized in your mind is something that you now want to act upon, because wands are action. Wands are also connected with the farmers who took care of the land, right? So who knows, maybe there comes an information to you regarding land, regarding properties. Nevertheless, you also have a wand here, so the 8 wands plus this wand makes it 9 wands, right? So you're holding the 9th wand now, if we calculate that together. On the position of the Wheel of Fortune, which is a state of consciousness as well, but not really in your head, but it's an energy that brings us the question of life, that we all question at one point or another. And here comes the number 10, the flower spirit is speaking to you and is helping you to evolve, or is helping you to give you an understanding of yourself here, holding on to this beautiful flower, holding on to a time that you maybe remember your childhood, remember things, and so there might be a message coming from your childhood, but we're going this way, right? But she's facing this way, and here the panda is facing this way as well, and the girl that's sitting on it. So everything is pointing into the direction of the soul path. Nevertheless, we're walking this way in the 365 days path. Then on the position of the Hanged Man comes this crystal. And the crystal is called bronzite, and it's the number 12. And this state of consciousness is about change. It's about waking up, right? In a way that you put yourself in that state of consciousness by doing an inversion, by doing something that is letting you know, now I gotta invert myself. I gotta go deeper into my higher consciousness, because this shift and this change is also bringing enlightenment. And so the crystal that is coming here and the number 12 is letting you know that this message of the 12 connected back to the sorcerer, right? The sorcerer that was 48 calculated together then makes a 12, and then again a 3. So this also from 12 goes down to 3. So you have a 3-3 portal with the sorcerer. And the bronzite is saying loyalty, trust, consistency, self-respect, and to trust that the universe is on your side. So very important that you understand that you are this child, you are this innocent child, you are this flower child, and around you are forces that are pushing and pulling you, and you gotta always remember that this is who you truly are, right? Because no child is imminently evil. It's like this evil or this negativity is pushed upon the child from conditioned parents or conditioned people that live around this child. So here, find that little star here in the crystal and learn to discern what is or what wants to come to you, right? Here with this fast 8 of wands, something is wanting to come to you. There is a message, right? There's a velocity, there is a goal-oriented push forward into this kind of energy of integrity and knowing that the universe is really with you, because on the position of Scorpio comes the 5 of Swords. And so if I calculate them together, then you have 9 swords. 9 swords are nightmares. 9 swords are usually then, lots of thoughts in your head that you're not really able to handle. And also here, the 5 of Swords on the position of Scorpio, it's almost like there are emotions surfacing to you and testing you. How strong are you really? How strong are you really believing that the universe is on your side? And this is Venus in Aquarius. And so the age of Aquarius is not always gonna be like, oh, now everything is gonna be better than the age of Pisces. The age of Aquarius is a lot of mental disturbances, a lot of thoughts, a lot of thinking, a lot of air. We're coming out of the water and we're going into an air sign. We're going up into the air. We're going up into the star. And here you're finding the star, that the star is guiding you, and not to be worried about something like this, right? Not to be worried about that certain things sometimes are pushing and pulling at you. And it's really interesting. This kind of color is the same color than this unicorn that is dying here, that is decaying here, right? It's like an idea. The unicorn doesn't really exist, but it's something that we want to believe in, that it exists. On the position then of Pisces, right? The moon comes now lost in space, or the needing direction. And this is where we're coming out, right? We're coming out of this deep, deep subconscious. We are learning to come and almost like you now, because it's on the position of the moon, this card came up on the position of your position. We want to come out really quickly out of where the lost in space energy is speaking to you. And it's like almost to me that you have grown up from this flower girl into now the 36, which is a 9. And this lost in space is because you have these 9 swords here. So you have a 9 swords, and you have here the lost in space, the 36, which is a 9 as well. And so you need direction, and the direction you get when you meditate. And you need direction that you have to realize that you back then were quite pushed and pulled in many directions. You, this innocent child that gets tested all the time. And so here you are asked to become more focused and trust that the universe is working with you. Trust that. Because the message here of the dream world that the moon is residing or watching over is this deck, saying feeling lost, needing direction and focus, a 24-hour day. And the card is literally saying, before you think too much into the future, stay for one day in 24 hours. What is it that you need to do today? What is it that you need to get yourself out, right, of feeling lost? So finding direction will help you to handle the 9 of Swords, which is nightmares. And then on the position of the Sun, which is then in Scorpio, comes the Mountain, comes the card number 16. And 16 becomes a 7. And there's no other 7. And it's almost like we see how the angel is literally holding the world. And now we're zooming in, we're becoming a view of the sun, we're looking down, we're becoming a bigger perspective. And you see from the perspective of the mountain that you are protected, and that you are here sleeping in the mountain. And you can see that you are actually much, much bigger. You see how big she is in holding the world. And now we see that she has come down into the world and she's sleeping here. This woman has transitioned over here, and you can see how big you really are. And you're seeing it here in relation to the mountains. One more time, how big you really are. And here you are sleeping, and the sun is literally saying, remember that you now are grown up. You're not this child anymore that's holding on to this flower. Here you're holding on and you're protecting the world with the way you meditate, with the way you act. And here now you are in this big deep sleep, because Scorpio is this reincarnation. You're getting reincarnated again, and you gotta wake up to a whole new higher spiritual energy, right, through the age of Aquarius that is coming to us. Because then on the position of the wake-up call, right, which is then here the judgment, and you are the only one that judges yourself. No one is here to judge you, but here you awaken. You get a wake-up call that says, wake up to this beautiful energy here, to these two people here, to a collaboration with other people, awaken through this transformation, which is always connected with this transformation of Scorpio, of the death, of the leaves falling. It's just a shift into another dimension, and the collaboration is saying creative people can be inspired by sharing and stimulating creativity in others, the number 45. So here you have a 9-9 portal framing the 7, framing you here on planet Earth, framing your sleep. You are being protected. It's how you can see that you are protected. You are protected because you are this child, you are this lady that has come down and now you're sleeping here, right? And you have the universe on your side. The cards are literally saying it, right? And the next step of collaboration here is giving you the understanding that creative people are getting inspired by other creative people. And this is the wake-up call that is coming to you. Become creative in the way you do your things, because only you can do these things the way you do. And then on the position of the world comes another 6 of Swords. So the 6 of Swords is again a really beautiful card, but now you having, so here you have now 15 swords, right? You have then 15 connected with Capricorn, with the devil, with the keeper of the taboos, with something that lurks always deep down in the dark within us, but calculated together the 15 becomes a 6. And so you allowing yourself through meditation to see that there are things that testing you always, right, within your mind. That's why the challenge here is so exciting also for the soul to be here, because that's where it learns the most, these intriguing things between, right, sorcerers and negativity and happiness and fulfillment and all these amazing things and new beginnings, right? We can begin, and there are things that are, right, coming to us, informations and etc, etc. So you are learning now to ask for help, and the muse is helping you, is giving you a hand so that you can transition further forward into this path of the world, of the 365 every day things that we have to do in this world to grow and to learn. Because as you can see, it's like there is like this path, and here's the hand coming out of this path. It's very interesting. So this hand here is literally pushing you and saying, yes, go, right? If I could put it down here, it's like it's continuing and saying, yes, go this path, go. You're gonna land here on the next, and you're gonna land here in the 4 of Swords. And then here 4 and 6 swords is a 10, and the 10 is a completion, is an understanding that you have learned something, is an understanding that you are always this beautiful flower child and can evolve and grow and heal magically here on planet Earth. Wow, beautiful reading. So I hope I see you in the next one, because then the Earth is spinning in such a way that we see behind the sun the constellation Sagittarius, and we do have Mercury in Sagittarius. So message is coming. Something is wanting to be lived, right? Your mind wants to create something, and it's very goal oriented, quick decision, but also good news are coming to you. So let's see. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.